the Indian Ministry of Tourism in the Parliament has stated that 116 new tourist destinations are supposed to be developed in India. And under what scheme these tourist destinations are being developed, and what is going to be the long-term impact of this program, let's try to understand. If you look at it, in India, India is at many times considered as a pilgrim nation. It means that it is a nation of pilgrimages, and the domestic tourism within the country is a substantial employment generator and also a means for economic development. If you look at the current statistics, the tourism industry and the travel industry together, they contribute nearly 7% to the overall GDP of India. And apart from contributing 7% to overall GDP of India, nearly 15% of employment in the country is generated in the fields of tourism, travel, hospitality. Industry is one of the important industry where nearly 15% of the employment is being generated. As it is a sector with such a high impact, the central government has rightly designated nearly 116 more sites to be developed as tourist destinations. We know that India is a land of culture. It is a land of heritage. It is a land of environmental diversity. It is a land of different kinds of lifestyles, and all of these are attractive points to develop tourism in India. And if you look at it, the central government earlier, it has launched a program which is called as Swadesh Darshan scheme. So it was launched in the year 2015 in order to promote the tourist destinations of India. The Swadesh Darshan scheme, it in fact took an approach of theme-based circuit development, and its main aspiration is to develop sustainable and responsible tourism in India. What is this theme-based circuit development? They will select a theme. Let's suppose Ramayana circuit is there. It means that all the places which are linked to the story of Ramayana would be developed as a circuit. There will be a Buddhist circuit where all the life events of Buddha, where these have happened, to all those destinations there will be a trip or travel, then it is called as Buddhist circuit. Similarly, coastal circuit and many other circuits have been developed by the Indian government under the Swadesh Darshan scheme. And in the Swadesh Darshan scheme, it is a 100% centrally funded scheme, and the states are going to get financial assistance for the sake of infrastructure development. And this scheme has been implemented for nearly 7 to 8 years, and based on the experiences gained from the scheme, a new revamped version of Swadesh Darshan has been launched, which is called as Swadesh Darshan 2.0. And this Swadesh Darshan 2.0 is supposed to be a program which is based on the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means that self-sufficiency in India. And the program is also aspired to go for vocal for local, which means that you have to promote your own local products, local ideas. That is called as vocal for local. And Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-sufficiency. Based on these two ideas, the Swadesh Darshan scheme 2.0, it plans to not only bring about incremental change in tourism, but bring about a generational shift in tourism. So generational shift means what? You need to try to bring in multiple inputs so that there will be a complete transformation of tourism, is called as generational shift. And it also creates some benchmarks and standards in order to promote tourism. These benchmarks and standards will be given to the states, and only if the states are able to meet these benchmarks, then they are going to provide the funds for the states. So this benchmarks and standard based scheme is Swadesh Darshan 2.0. Then over and above this, the Swadesh Darshan 2.0 has tourist and destination centric approach. Earlier it was theme based or theme centric approach. Now it is tourist and destination centric approach, which is being implemented by the central government, wherein the tourist convenience and the destination development are two major aims. That is the reason why it is called as a tourist and destination centric approach. Then over and above that, so in the Swadesh Darshan 2.0, there are some sub schemes. One is challenge-based destination development, which is called as CBDD program. And in the challenge-based destination development, some standards and benchmarks would be given to the state. And according to these standards, the state should develop the destination. And if they are able to meet the benchmarks, then they will be allocated or given the central sector schemes. Then apart from that, in Swadesh Darshan scheme, there is a second component which is called as SASSCI. That is called as SASCI, and this SASCI scheme is special assistance to states for capital investment. Special assistance to states for capital investments is a scheme, and this scheme is in fact meant to develop iconic tourist centers to global scale. So some centers are declared as iconic tourist centers, and these centers are supposed to be developed to global scale. And under the SASKI scheme, even money should be spent on branding and marketing of at a global scale also should be done. So under the SASKI scheme also numerous tourist destinations are being supported by the central government. And under the Swadesh Darshan 2.0, there is a special mechanism, that is tribal homestay development. What is this tribal homestay development? Under Pradhan Mantri Janjatiya Unnat Gramin Abhiyan. So Pradhan Mantri Janjatiya Unnat Gram Abhiyan. So they are developing some tribal pockets into tribal homestays, because many Western tourists to India, even the urban tourists of India, they want an experience of the tribal way of living. That is the reason why tribal homestays are being developed, where people are going to stay with the tribals. They will in fact perform the various duties of the tribals. They will spend a day with the tribals so that they will get an actual experience of the tribal way of life. These kind of tribal homestays are also being developed under Janajatiya Unnat Gram Abhiyan. You have to remember this. And the Swadesh Darshan 2.0 scheme, it aims for community involvement in tourism development. How is this community involvement? First and foremost, there should be a pro-poor tourism approach, and apart from pro-poor tourism approach, there should be a community-based development. Then only tourism can become successful in India. And in the context of the recent Hampi incident, you might be knowing that if some foreign tourists who have come there for stargazing, nearly 3 of them have been pushed into the canal, and 2 women were raped by the locals, which means that without proper development of security for the tourists and sensitization about the tourists among the local population, because of lack of sensitivity, only these kind of events are happening. So if these things can be avoided, definitely India is going to become one of the major destinations for tourism. Okay, but unfortunately, the Indian people lack this sensitivity, as can be seen in the Hampi incident. In Delhi also there is a case of molestation and rape. Earlier, one Argentinian woman, when she came to India, she was also raped in Jharkhand. So this way there are multiple instances of absence of security for the tourists, which should be ensured. Then over and above this, the central government, not only the Swadesh Darshan scheme, under which nearly 116 sites have been identified, it is also implementing multiple other programs in order to enhance tourism in India. That is, number 1 is Prashad scheme for the sake of spiritual tourism. Then number 2 is iconic tourist site scheme, that is also sub part of this SASKI scheme. Then over and above that, they are also implementing a program which is called as Dekho Apna Desh initiative under Ministry of Tourism, in order to develop or enhance the domestic tourism within the country. As tourism is going to be the next major sector in India, proper investment, proper identification, proper sensitization, and over and above that, proper development of these tourist destinations are all the requisite criteria in order to make India into one of the major tourist destinations for the world, and along with that, to promote domestic tourism within the country. As we could have seen very recently in the Mahakumbh incident, what kind of revenues are generated. So if these kind of tourism happens very regularly, this will become a major boost for the domestic tourism industry, and it will provide employment, economic development, and all possible benefits for the people. Thank you.
కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSBIS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.